Hi, I'm Kay. I'm a beekeeper from Harper Hay, and I've got with me John, who's from the City Art Gallery, and where they keep bees on the roof. So can you tell us about how it's all happened, John?
2.5 years ago,
Yeah.
when I was at work and should have been doing something other than reading the paper,
Yeah.
I read about a guy from London who had put a beehive on the Tower block near Tower Bridge.
Right, okay.
And he now, I think, is the biggest producer of honey in London, called London Bee Company. So I thought, if they can do it in London,
Yeah.
why not in Manchester, with it being the symbol of the bee? And I wrote a proposal to have beehives on the roof, and it was accepted, and I knew nothing about beekeeping, and I just went ahead and did it.
Right, okay.
Basically.
So you didn't know, you'd never kept bees before?
I had no interest in it.
Yeah.
I'd never kept them before.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something that was different. And from there, it's just grown and grown and grown, basically.
Yeah. So where are your hives?
We've got another 2 levels above us.
Yeah.
And then there's a staircase that goes out onto the roof. And then it's over some walls. And then in a recess, so it's quite protected from the wind. But basically, if you stand looking from our hives, you see the town hall. So it's in there.
So pretty high up?
Yeah, it's about 40 foot
Yeah, sure.
off the ground.
And how many hives have you got?
We've got 2 hives. We did the first one 2 years ago, and this year we put the second one in.
Right, okay. Great.
And they're named after our director and her husband, who's the director of Manchester Museum.
Right.
So we have first hive's called Maria, and the second hive's called Nick.
Nick?
Yeah.
After a man?
Yeah, Nick
Because
Merriman.
you normally call it after the Queen Bee, don't you?
Yeah, we thought we'd go for the directors of the art galleries, who have been very supportive in it anyways.
So how does it compare with Harper Hay honey?
Not quite as fresh,
Not quite as fresh.
but then ours were mainly spring flowers, and this is the summer flowers. They've only taken it off a month ago, and ours came off
I think that's it. The bouquet is different, really.
very different.
Good as Curls or Vales like, but I mean, I suppose they're still learning, aren't they? You know what I mean?
So how many hives you got on Curls Vale?
We have now 6. We've had to introduce 3 new colonies this season due to 1 or 2 hives being missing from last year. Unfortunately, one of the hives actually swarmed from October, and we don't really know the reason for that, but these things happen. Of course, as you know, the bees don't read the manual, so we don't know why that one swarmed so late in the season. There's no reason for it. But the bees are gone to bed now, so hopefully next spring it should be okay.
Well, last year the taste was predominantly citrusy, so we thought probably lime more than anything. This year it's a bit sweeter, so we don't know, but we have taken the supers off later than
Right.
we did last year. And in between me putting beehives on the roof, I also planted a rooftop allotment.
Right.
So we had lots of vegetables growing up there, and lots of things like echinacea and cornflowers as well, and heathers. So whether that's influenced the flavour this year, I don't know, because that was another experiment that we were trying to see what we can grow on rooftops.
At the Manchester Art Gallery, where they've got bees on the roof, and we're just going to do a tasting of their gorgeous honey, which I haven't tasted yet at all, so here we go. That's nice. Very sweet, very fragrant. Nice, that.
We plan to do is have a bee cam, and the bee cam will then hopefully show what's going on in these 2 screens here, so it'll be a live link up
Right, okay.
at interesting times.
Indeed, yeah. So
that's
do you
our
think
plan.
other people in the city centre are going to take up the same idea?
Yeah, we've had loads of interest from various institutions that want to put beehives on the roof. Since we put ours on the roof, Manchester Museum, who are out partnership with us, they've put one on their roof as
Right,
well.
okay.
And next year, when the Whitworth reopens, we will be putting beehive at the Whitworth as well.
Right.
So Oxford Road will hopefully be connected by flights of pollinators. That is
Wow.
our plan.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got another John with me now, and he's been serving the bread and honey tonight. So can you tell us how it's going tonight?
Well, tonight's going very well.
Yeah.
It's slow but surely. Everyone keeps turning up and having more than one piece.
That's true.
It's our second year of tasting, so I feel like it's a success so far. I mean, it's early days.
Yeah. So what's going to happen tonight?
Tonight, we're starting with the tasting on the table, so everyone can have a free sample of all our bees produced throughout the year. We're also selling it in the shop at the same time if people feel that they like it that much. And then from 7 o'clock, we're having a talk from Lwin, who's the director of the River of Flowers project, and she will be giving a talk on bees in urban environments and wildflowers and the importance of it all.
Great, yeah. So this is part of your job, is it? Your normal day-to-day job?
Yeah, I work in the asset management department, so the bees are regarded as an asset of the gallery. So I've somehow wheedled the fact that I can now just do that as part of my job. So yeah, weekly we do hive inspections on the roof. We deal with the swarms when they happen. I think the biggest sort of day that we had was the very first day that we got them 2 years ago, when on the day that we brought the nucleus box and put it on the roof, the following day a swarm appeared on the tram sign outside the front of the gallery. And we'd been beekeeping for 1 or 2 days, literally. We hadn't even been to any training yet, so it was like everyone coming to our desks and saying that we needed to deal with it, and we were like, oh, okay.
And what, was it your bees?
We went upstairs to have a look how many bees were in the box, and we felt that there was enough bees in the box that they weren't ours.
Right, okay.
But to this day, we're not too sure.
So did you collect the
We brushed them into a cardboard box we got from our stepladder and called people we knew, and someone turned up and took the box away from us.
Right, okay. So you didn't have a backup hive to put them into?
At that moment in time, we were just not prepared for that.
No.
We had 2 other hives, but just not, they weren't built or anything.
Right, flat pack.
Flat pack, yeah.
So every beekeeper needs to make a vow that they will plant wildflowers for the indigenous bees, because they actually prefer the trees. And the city of Manchester and its concerned citizens should be planting groves of wonderful trees for those farmed bees. They do come down to the wildflowers, but not as often. Those wildflowers are there for all the other pollinators, the wasps, which make great pest controllers, by the way, and the butterflies and the moths and all of those. Trees also support butterflies and moths as well as wildflowers. So really we need a range of forage in a city, and we need to think of it like a river running through it, flowing through it, feeding our pollinators, which feed us. It's logical. It makes sense. And I don't understand why people don't put pollination as a seriously high on the city agenda. Because if you can't feed your people, or if you're growing anyway, why don't you just substitute with insect pollinated plants? Why? Why grow grasses? Why grow those ornamental non-natives? If you like them, have them in, but put the wild ones in as well. We just say think about feeding those pollinators before they all disappear and we don't have anything to feed, and then we start running out of food ourselves.
Thank you. That was great.